Hello, hello, and welcome to the Calling in Your Soulmate Summit. My name is Jacqueline Marie. I'm the founder of the souloflove.com, where successful spiritual women come to reconnect with their soul, activate their feminine power and beauty, and create a life and love relationship of their dreams. I'm so excited. I have an amazing expert with me here today. Her name's Riana Milne. We're going to be talking all about how childhood trauma influences our relationships and impacts our choices in love. So before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to set an intention and to say a prayer so you can receive exactly what you need on this call. So I'd like to invite you to join me in closing your eyes and beginning to slow down and breathe deeply into your body, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow anything that's transpired before our joining here today to just melt away, bringing your full presence and attention into the present moment. And so from this place of deep connection to your own heart and your soul, and that prayer you have for true love, we're going to ask Mother, Father, God, and the angels and archangels and all the sacred holy ones by all the many names to be here and to overshadow the next 30 minutes. And we're going to hold to the knowing that each soul will receive exactly what they need, will be uplifted and inspired, given the tools to shift their mindset and to believe and know that love is their birthright. And that a love relationship is not only possible, but it's just absolutely guaranteed. It's why you're here. So taking a moment just in your own way to say thank you, to connect to the reason why you're tuning in today, because I know you're here because love is a calling. It's a deep soul yearning. And then to let that all go. Just holding to the knowing you will receive exactly what you so opening our eyes, saying hello to beautiful Riana.
Beautiful. I always welcome a chance to meditate and center and deep breathe and just calm down for a moment. It's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I want to tell our viewers all about you. Ladies and gentlemen, Riana Milne is an extraordinary woman. She's here with us today. She is a certified global life, dating, and relationship coach, a #1 best-selling author, a life and dating coach for the new docu-series, Radical Dating, Finding Lasting Love Over 40. Ooh. Host of her former TV show, Lessons in Life and Love. She's an educational speaker, a licensed mental health counselor, and a certified trauma and addictions professional for over 18 years in Delray Beach, Florida. Riana specializes in childhood, dating, and relationship trauma. And she offers one-on-one VIP coaching and online virtual coaching programs for both singles and couples at her lifeandlovetrainingacademy.com. And Riana also has a free app, My Relationship Coach, which offers so many videos and articles. And she has 2 5-star rated books. You're going to want to check these out. The first one being Love Beyond Your Dreams, How to Break Free of Toxic Relationships and Have the Love You Deserve, and Life and Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. And in these books, she addresses life transitions, personal transformations, and relationships with yourself and others. And her website is rianamilne.com. So welcome, Riana. Thank you so much for joining us today. And
I really appreciate you inviting me. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. So I would love if you could tell our viewers a little bit more about you and your work and how you became a life and love and relationship coach.
Sure. Well, I've been a psychotherapist for many years. And in 2009 and 10, I just felt I wanted to do more to help my clients and reach them when they needed me.
Mm.
And I decided I loved the coaching model. The older style of psychotherapies, once a week, 45 minutes. And when they're in crises, yes, they may reach out once in a while on the emergency call, but my coaching programs allow my clients to reach out to me constantly. So when they need me, I am there. It's very personal. They can email me, they can text me, and we get so much done in such little time. So the coaching model I just loved, and I do that full time now. However, I am combining the psychotherapy, the trauma professional, and the coaching hat when I work with my clients in both life and love coaching, which is equal parts in my program. And I really went to research this, why relationships fail. After someone that I truly loved and married did something totally out of the ordinary. He was like this secret person, and I call that Jekyll and Hyde. If you know the Broadway show, Dr. Jekyll is loved in the community and very respected and adored, and then Mr. Hyde is that hidden personality type that nobody knows, but eventually he gets caught. And I'm like, how did I attract this? Why did everything seem great and normal? And what compelled him to do the behaviors he did as a principal who got caught with porn on his computer, to shame himself and our relationship and everything that he had in life, just ruined it without consequences, without the mindset to think, what am I doing wrong? So it set me on this huge research over 2 years to get the information together. And I found out he and other people that I had dated or was in love with had childhood trauma. And this is a term I never heard. I have a triple master's in applied clinical and counseling psychology, graduated summa cum laude. So it's not like I wasn't a good student and just missed it. It's like they didn't teach us this anywhere. So I dug further. And this is the result of my coaching programs, which are my 2 books, Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams, and a 200-page workbook that is interactive, that is a lot of worksheets that my clients fill out, and how they fill them out gives me the answers that I need directly on how to help them. And it's funny, when I say, do you have childhood trauma? Most people say no, because I think their childhood was pretty normal. If they think back, there was a couple of incidents that weren't so cool, but hey, they got over it. Well, when I talk about the 10 traumas here, I would love your listeners to get a piece of paper and pen and write them down, because they're going to be surprised how everyday normal they sound like. But when they add up and you think back and you're really real with yourself, I can later tell you how these dynamics come out in your adult love relationship or partner choice. So what I do with my clients is I totally make the unconscious conscious and have them work on the behavioral patterns that have emerged. Really, it is from childhood survival and coping that they develop these mechanisms, and then they come out later and, destroy their relationships or sabotage their love that they really want.
Well, first and foremost, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I'm so grateful that you turned your pain into power and that you're here. So many women can relate to your story of being in a relationship with somebody.
Sure. I mean, and when you're giving honorably, and you're trustworthy and honorable and loving and romantic, and everything seems like picture perfect, and then this other person emerges, it's shocking, and it's like, yeah, it's very shocking.
Guaranteed there are like hundreds and thousands of people going, yes, me, I know exactly what that is.
A lot of people have been through this, and they're like, why? That's the big question. And I was determined to get to the bottom of it. And then I discovered all my clients had this, that were suffering in love. Either they had it or they were attracted to people with childhood trauma. And then the research that finally came out in 2014 by Kaiser Permanente Group in San Diego confirmed all my research that I was putting together. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Now this is all research-based, and it's not just all my research of reading over 250 books to put the pieces together. And people of trauma do attract people of trauma. So, and it goes through the generations, as studies show. So if you find, when I tell you what the traumas are and you're writing them down, I ask you to make 3 columns: me, the person; my partner currently, or someone I had trouble with that's fresh in my mind, and my parents. Because if you're someone from trauma, your parents are also from trauma. And
Okay.
it goes through the generation. But with my trauma study that I've done, I've learned how to help people heal from this, because trauma does stay in the brain and body. And then what happens is people are emotionally triggered. You might have heard the words, I'm triggered. Well, that's what that means. And it's a fast trigger reaction. And you don't know why you're reacting so profoundly to something that may not be a big deal, but it's coming from childhood wounds.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is fascinating. We want everyone to get a pen and a paper, make those 3 columns. And I'd love if you went right into the 10
Sure, let's go. I'll give you a keyword to write down for each one. So number 1 is the word addiction. So remember now, when you're a young child, you're very young, you're innocent, you don't know anything that's different other than what your parents present to you until you're becoming a teenager. Then you see your parents don't do this, or wow, my parents are doing this to me all the time and my friends don't have these situations. So you become more aware as you get older. So as a child, think back, and again, you want to be as honest with yourself as you can, because that's the beginning part of the healing process. So did either of your parents have an addiction? Now, of course, we're talking drugs and alcohol, but it also could be sex, porn, cheating, hoarding, spending, eating, gaming, gambling, TV watching, and those are just few that I can name right off the cuff.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Second, did you witness or were you a recipient of, and the second word is verbal abuse. So verbal abuse could be witnessing your parents yelling and fighting and screaming all the time, and you remember feeling afraid. Or you could have received the yelling and the screaming, and it could be either the yelling in a loud voice, or it could be verbal put downs, or even verbally slighting you, never giving you any compliments, or it could be the silent treatment to punish you for a few hours or a few days. The next one is emotional abuse or neglect. And it's funny, in this research, it even says single moms, which I was one of for many years, raising their kids who have to work, and the kids have to come home from school alone, let themselves in, start their homework, get their snack. Kids are fearful, which raises the anxiety levels. So even though they said, okay, it's normal, my mom has to work, that's still considered a trauma under the research.
Wow.
So, and of course, severe emotional trauma and distress and fighting and dynamics that can go in the household. The next one is physical abuse, like severe spankings or beatings, and rape or molestation. And those could have happened either inside or outside of the home. That is always very traumatic, but the brain is developing up to the age of about 25. So they say up to age 25, it is the most severe if something like that happens to you. The next one is abandonment. And there's 2 types, fault and no fault abandonment. So a no fault abandonment, 3 examples would be if a parent dies early, if a parent has to go off to war, or a parent travels a lot due to their work and they're doing it to support the family. It's not their fault that they have to leave. Now, this is a situation that happened to me. My dad was gone a lot. We didn't know as a family he was FBI and CIA. My dad was like James Bond. So we didn't know until he was older and sick, and we got letters from the president and the CIA director. I'm like, that's where my dad was. Wow. Because as a kid, I always said to my mom, when's dad coming home? She goes, oh, I don't know. So as a little kid, it's like, well, why don't you know? So, we were always longing for dad to be there. So, you start recognizing some of these normal things that really weren't quite normal.
Yeah.
Okay. A fault abandonment would be if there's a divorce, and let's say dad has to leave the home and he promises to pick you up, and then he breaks his word or his promises over and over again. So there's a lot of lost trust in that male parent. The next one would be if you were part of adoption, foster care, or had to live with other relatives or family friends because mom or dad couldn't take care of you. Number 7 is a popular one. This is personal trauma. And situations like this, could you remember being different in school if you were overweight and teased, or really skinny or awkward? any kind of bullying, or if you were born with a medical condition or developed one, or there was an accident and you had to stay home from school, just anything where you felt different or not good enough or not one of the popular kids, that's personal trauma. Next one is sibling trauma. Very often the majority of this is your sibling is conceived or perceived as the golden child. So either they were smarter than you, prettier than you, more successful, more athletic, but in your mind, they got all the attention for some reason. This could also be the sibling bullying you, or the sibling had a medical condition where the parents had to give them a lot of attention. Okay. Next one was only family trauma and community trauma. There's about 20 traumas, and that was later in the list, but I pulled it forward and I put it there for my people because I work with people globally all over the world. Like I had a client that said, Riana, when I grew up in Lebanon, where she's from, bombs were going off every day. We didn't know if we were going to wake up alive. Yeah. So this is community trauma. Mass shootings. I was out in Las Vegas talking to the crowd there about that shooting. So this has become very profound in our culture. The storms, all the losses of homes by floods, the California fires. So you know how traumatic it is for adults. Can you imagine little people going through this with their immature minds, not able to handle this? So the fears, the anxieties, the lack of safety is huge going on today. And other family traumas could be growing up in poverty, always remembering struggling. You know, if you're a single parent mom and mom's out working 5 jobs, you know, are we going to be okay? It's going on in the minds of kids a lot. And it's funny because I was a SAC counselor in schools for about 10 years, and that stands for Student Assistance Counselor. Okay. Grades kindergarten all the way through college. I worked at every grade level. And I found it very interesting that those that were diagnosed with ADHD were kids from traumatic homes. So when the child is anxious and upset and not sleeping, their cortisol level is up. When cortisol is up, attention is down. They can't memorize their facts. So these were my kids, the ADHD, the oppositional defiant. So we were doing meditation in my office in 2004, 2005, when everyone thought I was a weirdo, doing meditation with my upset kids. But they'd go back to class like all zenned out. And the teachers are like, what are you doing there? And it's my sign on the door says, Miss Riana's relaxation room. Oh, no. So I got them to and their grades went up and their behaviors went down and their friendships went up. So, you know, when kids are coming from traumatic homes, this is why very often they're failing in school. Yeah. Something for the parents to keep in mind. So those are some of the family traumas. And the last one is if your parents had some kind of mental health issue. The most severe is borderline personality. I describe that as fast trigger anger. You never know what you're going to get. Is mom happy today? Is she sad today? Is dad going to be yelling at me the moment he gets home, or is he going to be happy? It keeps everybody on edge. And that is usually gone through genetics. Okay. So if your mom or dad had borderline, usually grandma, granddad had borderline too. And the other one that's difficult is bipolar, which is manic depressive, or extreme happiness and extreme sadness or depression. And children that grow up in either anxious or depressed homes often have high levels of anxiety or depression too. Okay. And it's a lifelong struggle. So those are the 10, and there's more after that, but these are the ones I name when I speak because they're the most common. So when you look at that and it's like, well, yes, I had a lot of that going on. Yeah. Then, you know.
Naturally, the question becomes, okay, what do I do if this is something I've experienced?
Yes.
I know my beloved has experienced, and I'm experiencing these patterns in relationship that are just traumatic. What do I do?
Oh, that's when you pick up the phone and call me. Yeah. Well, this is why I've made this my specialty area. One, because when I was seeking help, nobody did this. Nobody was aware of this. So I could only help myself through the research. And I'm like, this stuff is so good. I've got to do a program on this. And the love book is 424 pages. But even since I wrote that, I've written my notebook, which is 200 pages that I use with my clients, or 100 with my online people. So it's the guts of what you need to do to make the unconscious become conscious. We work with all kinds of techniques every time I meet with you, we address the fearful thoughts like, okay, why is that coming up for you? Where's it coming from? And then they identify it, and then they're able to change it.
Got it.
So
So
we
that's
make,
one of the main tips and tools, like being able to bring
yes,
the unconscious forward to the conscious
yes,
mind and identify,
absolutely.
okay, this is where I am in my mentality, my body. I'm in this state. And then how to transform out of it.
Yes, I describe it like a rainbow. It's the beginning of a huge learning curve
Okay.
because you can't change what you don't understand, right? How do you change?
Totally.
You don't even know what to do with it. So when they learn the process, they do better almost right away. It's amazing. And then they slip, then better than slip because we are addressing years and years of unconscious behavior.
Yeah.
But by the time they get to the other side of the rainbow, indeed, there is a pot of gold there. And once you know how to work the mindset, because the mind is everything, then
Yes.
you can calm the brain, calm the body, know how to communicate through your issues if you're with a partner or married. And this works for men, women, straight, LGBT people. I have all kinds of people that come to coaching for me. The common element is the childhood trauma piece, or them just repeatedly failing at relationships and can't figure out why. And I hear it say, Riana, I fell in love with the same guy, just a different face.
Yeah.
You know, it's so frustrating for them. And I was one of those people. I like totally get what they're talking about. So I have huge compassion when I'm working with them.
Yeah.
And
Because that's a really frustrating experience, especially when you think you've done the work. You know, so
right.
many people tuning into this. It's like, I've done meditation. I've seen a therapist. I do things. I feel like I've done so much. And yet this pattern, and yet this person, like you said, same guy, different name.
Yeah, it's the clinical trauma piece that I'm bringing in that a lot of people don't have. Many coaches don't have this level of education and experience in it, or maybe even experienced it personally.
Right.
So it's such a passionate piece for me that I'm trying to educate as much of the world about what is going on. And it doesn't mean if you're out there dating, you meet someone, and my singles know exact questions to ask when they're out there dating so they find someone emotionally healthy.
Awesome.
And there's a lot
of one example of that, because I know people listening are just like, oh, what would be one example of that?
Sure. It's easy. I have like 25 questions that I run my people with, but they get to know them like this. So the first one, and then you don't make it sound like an interview, it's just conversation. Yeah. So tell me about your mom and dad. That's an everyday question. Most people don't know what they're looking for when they ask these questions. So what we're looking for, and it's funny because most people are gut honest. They'll hear a guy say, oh, my dad was a jerk. He was an alcoholic. Then you respond, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. You know, how did your mom react to that? Well, mom wasn't much better. He'd scream at her. She'd go run away. There was no support for me. Gosh, I feel really bad about that. How did you deal with that? You know, and how's your relationship today? Now you're finding a little information. Okay, it's not his fault that it happened. We are, you know, a victim of this trauma that occurs to us. But as adults, we are looking for people that are into personal transformation, into spirituality, which is my courses are definitely spiritually based.
Wonderful.
A lot of people come to me with no sense of a higher power. I don't care what they call it, Muhammad, Buddha, God, you know, as long as they have a higher power, because faith helps you get through the tough times. For sure. Yeah. So this is a spiritually based program. And in my clients that never were exposed to it, absolutely love it because they do find they're a lot calmer with the sense of spirituality. Mm-hmm. So, you know, those are just questions. And then you're looking on the first or second date, how have they dealt with that? What? You know, and if they still say, well, I barely see my dad, he's still a jerk. Well, he's still got a lot of anger that hasn't been processed. So even though my folks come to me with some anger and negativity about their situation, or they don't know why they're angry, it, okay, they have fast trigger anger, they don't really know why, but they know something's wrong. We dissect it and we heal it. And there's all kinds of processes I use for that.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. It sounds like such an empowered way to date. And those questions, that transforms everything when you have the knowledge and awareness of like, why am I asking this? And what am I listening for in return? Exactly. So we have a lot of dates. We call them one and dones. It's kind of a joke in our group there.
But it's okay because you still leave them with a friendly, loving message. I think you're a wonderful person. I don't think we're quite a match. And then you just move on. No matter how cute they are, you don't want to set yourself up for heartache. So my people become very confident. We do the life coaching first so that they examine the past. We heal the past. They become very self-aware, self-confident. We look at all their life areas to make sure everything is feeling fantastic because studies show you have to be a successful single to get a successful relationship and attract a successful, emotionally successful person as well. Right? So you got to solve all that first. Then I get them out dating, and I am watching as they're dating, and they're bringing me their issues or questions, and right away, like I said, they can text me. Riana, this happened on my date. What should I do? Boom, they got the answer. This is how coaching works. Therapy is just out the window.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so happy people have access to you. I mean, that's pretty extraordinary. I will say.
That's my VIPs. Yeah,
that's pretty VIP. Most definitely. So then let's transition. How do you know, you talk about that there are 5 qualities of an emotionally healthy relationship.
Right.
A conscious relationship.
Well, there's 4 sections in the book, and that's the entire 4th section. So when I work with my couples, I love when they get into that part of the book because they're already great in communicating and understanding each other's emotional triggers and know how to work through them. They're quick with forgiveness and apologizing. So they go through the list and see what they have already and commend each other. And they say, babe, let's try harder on this one. So there's many, many lists of where they're now recreating their relationship plan for each other. So it's really awesome. But some things to look out for. First of all, we identify each other's requirements to be happy. And requirements are deal breakers. And for my singles, let's say I have a girl, 25 to 35, definitely wants marriage and kids. And she's frustrated dating guy after guy who just wants to have sex and that's it. And then he ghosts her. So it's like, what's going on? What do I do? So that is a requirement for her. If, when she goes out there and dates and on the profiles that I help her write and set up, if she's not seeing a guy saying, I want marriage and a family, she just doesn't even date him. It's a requirement. Done.
How empowering is that?
Well, it's, you know what? We were never told what to do to find a great relationship, were we? Never. Right. Not even in my master's program. I'm like, what do I need theory for? Like, who cares? Let's teach the real stuff that people know. So you got to do your own research once you're out of school. But
definitely,
definitely. This was an area that sorely didn't have the facts. So when my couples become empowered in knowing what to do and how to communicate a need, there's also functional needs and emotional needs. Let's say the man's real affectionate and wants more lovemaking and the woman's cold. Well, he's got this need that's not being met. And if it doesn't get met in one way or another, the marriage probably won't last. So we have to find out why the woman is not, into the need of him wanting more sex. Well, then it finally comes out she's angry because he won't help at home or with the kids. So now those are called functional needs. So he's got to raise his quality and functional needs, and she's got to raise her level in emotional needs. And we find for them ways to negotiate through that. So we dissect everything. They learn to become very honest and very real, because what's the alternative? Breakup or divorce. Or having kids that are emotionally upset and traumatized for the rest of your life. They think,
or dating the same guy over and over and over.
Right. Or dating the same toxic personality type over and over. So, with the singles, same thing. We identify everything that they want, and then they know exactly when they're reading profiles or people are answering, it's like, nope, I'm not even going to bother. Not even bother, so
that one piece is so transformative. So many of my clients come to me, and that aha is such, it's like, wait, I can clearly state what I want. It's like, yes,
absolutely. So the emotionally healthy relationship is balanced. There's no codependency. There's no love addiction. And I really want to warn your people about falling in love with chemistry. Chemistry unconsciously pulls you right back to your past, your toxic behavior, opposite sex parents. So yes, you need to be attracted, but you have to be really aware, and you have to know what to look for in the other qualities and traits. So do not fall in love quickly by chemistry, and do not be intimate early. Be
Okay.
knowledgeable.
Ding, 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 something I'm such a
Hello.
huge proponent of.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
You know,
So
I'd love for you to speak a little on that, because it's a big thing right now.
it is. It truly is. Of course, every man wants sex. And I don't know why women feel pigeonholed by the third date. They have to do something. It's like, are you out of your mind? So my clients do not.
Yeah.
And even when I was out there dating, and if a man approached me with that early, it's like, look, I totally respect that that's what you're into, but you've got the wrong girl, because I just don't sleep around. And I'm looking for something real that's going to last a lifetime. So I figure if you're really interested in getting to know me, you'll be willing to wait.
And they
However,
are.
the
Good
great
ones
guys, you don't even have to
are.
say that to. They're
Exactly.
pleased to wait and have your company. So when you're picking well, you usually don't have to deal with the press, the sexual press. It's like now. It's like, no, not now.
Yeah.
So, there's just certain things that you do, and then you know to look for, and the first date's going to tell you a lot. So as you're going forward, when they're really excited about you, that conversation usually doesn't come up. But there's so many rules that I go over, and I don't want to call them hardcore rules, but guidelines to really look for, and how many dates should you have. And, I say it's called making love because it's making love. You should be in love with each other first. And that's another answer I've given to guys, and they're just like, oh.
Right? And men like to hunt, quite frankly. Men like to know that they can, like a woman, when she actually is very sovereign in who she is. And there's a man has a different kind of respect for a woman.
Huge respect. And there's another thing psychologically, I always say, they have to win you from the pack. So you just keep dating until they're stepping up and saying, you know what, I want to be exclusive. And this is what I want to offer you if you agree to be exclusive with me. And they will do it.
Yeah.
If you just keep dating.
Yes.
It becomes very simple. Like my people are like, oh my God, Riana, like you just make it so simple. I said, the world is abundant. There's plenty of great partners out there, whether they're male, female, wonderful partners. And when you have the mindset of knowing exactly what to do when you're single, or if you're in a coupled relationship and it's faltering, but you both know now the strategies to use, these skills last the rest of your life.
They do.
And that's the good thing. Yes, there's a lot to learn initially, but if you invest 3 to 6 months of helping yourself, and I always say the sooner the better, because having the wrong partner, and not only waste your time and your energy, but financially, it's a huge waste too. And if you have children, your children are suffering through the toxic relationship, and you don't want to do that.
So this is the perfect segue, because I definitely want people to take action and to be able to reach out to you more. And so I know that you have both of your books are available. You're offering free chapters. You're giving some incredible gifts to our viewers. So I'd love for you to tell our viewers where they can access your books.
Sure. For both my gifts, just go to my website. It's rianamilne.com. RIANAMILNE.com. And on the homepage, you can do the downloads of both books, Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams. Love is the #1 bestseller on Amazon in women and spirituality and in couples therapy, believe it or not. And then there'll be a pop-up and it says apply for a free life and love transformation strategy session, where you will meet with me. I'll give you an hour of my time. Just fill out the form. Tell me your story. I sent you a couple forms back. Just fill them out, because what you fill out helps me to help you better. Then we set up a time. We meet on Skype, and so many people like, oh my God, in the first hour, they're like, Riana, I have learned so much. I learned more in an hour with you than 4 years of therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic.
So I'm really looking forward to helping your listeners however I can.
Oh, Riana, thank you so much. Well, your sincerity just beams. It comes off so much, and your incredible wisdom. It's such a gift. So thank you for being with us. And thank you for offering that to our viewers. Make sure to do that. Go to her website, and this free offer of the books. And not only that, the free consultation is extraordinary. So be sure to take advantage.
Yes, I have 5 openings in the next coming week. So first come, first serve. It's a $500 value. So please take advantage of it. I'd love to help you, especially coming into the new year.
Right. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your own heart, in your own life, and to really make the choice and the decision to begin to thrive in love. I want to say thank you to Riana for joining us today. You were amazing. Thank you. And be sure to tune back with us tomorrow, because we have another amazing guest who is also offering some incredible wisdom and tools. Thank you. Thank you from my heart to yours. I love you. I see you. And love is your birthright. Namaste.